Russell, a try, 8 tackle. I'm not sure about his try though, but anyway, it was given. 8 tackle busts and 134 metres.
Perfectly fine from where I could see.
And Guy Armitage, 109 metres. Tommy Makinson for St Helens, 1 try, 1 try assist, 8 tackle busts, 210 metres, 2 clean breaks. So, he's still having a great year in the build-up to the World Cup. Yeah. Conrad Hurrell, 149 metres, Mark Percival, 137 metres, and Matty Leeds, 40 tackles, 11 of which were marker tackles, and no missed tackles from the prop forward. Fittingly, the first fan view we're going to go to is a Toulouse fan. Do you want to tell us what Brian had to say?
Brian Davis, listen to this on Radio Merseyside. Like me, they clearly thought Saints would win this one comfortably. Fortunately, those heroes in blue and white thought differently. Toulouse played typical Toulouse rugby, free-flowing and exciting. This week, the offloads and different plays worked and we won. Fantastic to get the 2 points. Cass up next. We're coming for you.
Callum Percy, 99. That's it.
Don't even have to read that one out. We're all doing exactly the same thing. David Hunter, once again, St Helens showing Wigan how to do it right. Winky face.
Yeah, David was upset, wasn't he, when we pulled it out of the bag against Toulouse, but Saints didn't. Frogmore said, the undefeated run just took a week off. It resumes again from this week.
Hashtag undefeated for those of you who listen to This Week in League.
Asterisk, undefeated asterisk. That's what this
undefeated
is.
Asterisk, yeah. Yep. St David, what a club Saints are. When the world is going to hell in a handcart, what with war, plague and endless establishment corruption, Saints cheer everyone up. Even fans of clubs who could easily go down instead of Toulouse, such as Leeds and Cass, seem happy. Well done, Saints, and congratulations to Toulouse. Back to it next week, boys.
We did get one in late that won't be on your rundown from Mike Webster at MikeWeb58. He said, never a good start to let the other team score from their own kickoff. However, no excuses. Really encouraging performance from Toulouse and poor discipline from Saints. Too many penalties, forward passes, etc. On the bright side, Operation Relegate Leeds is going surprisingly well. Hey, no Walmsley, no win. What did I tell you in the season preview show, guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was lots of Saints speckies on social media moaning about the number of players they had out and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah, they did have Sione Matautia out, who's arguably been their best player this year, who's out suspended and injured, so he never would have played one way or another in this game.
Yeah.
And Batchelor, who's been okay for them in the second row too, he was out, but really, it's no Walmsley, no win.
Yeah, but they also ignored the fact that last week, when everyone was laughing at the way we played, that actually we had, the week before, we had 3 or 4 players that we rested.
Yeah.
With the intention of them playing against Catalan. Well,
that didn't work out, did it?
I was going to say, that worked out well for us, didn't it? So, and one of them was moaning, well, we didn't start with Roby. Well, yeah, but he's still on the bench and he still played.
Yeah,
so
I bet they finished with him.
Yeah, they do.
Which they haven't been doing when they've not needed to in all the other games that they've walked away with after 60 minutes.
Yeah, I bet he played more minutes probably off the bench than he would have done if he'd started, simply because of the way it was. I mean, it was, as far as I could see, obviously, again, from the limited highlights that we saw, Hankinson made the difference. If only Wigan had a kicker like that in the last couple of years that we could have used. Oh, hang on, we had him, didn't we? And that was ultimately the difference, wasn't it? Was it Dodd taking the conversions for?
Good question.
For Saints, or was it possibly Makinson? But they missed more of their kicks than.
No, do you know what? I don't think it was. I don't. Yeah, it was Dodd. Makinson has had a slight. Oh no, he missed. Makinson took the first 2, missed them both, and then Dodd took over.
Yeah, and ultimately that's the difference. Whereas I think Hankinson missed maybe 1 out of the ones he took, and that was the difference ultimately, wasn't it? It was one.
Yeah, he missed
conversion.
the last one. He missed the last one. That the try of his own that he converted from wide-ish, but not really that wide. That was crucial because that meant that if they scored again, they didn't need to convert it to win. So in that try that they scored to win, it was right on the touchline, wasn't it? Although he converted from the opposite touchline, Matty Russell's, which was, I think, beyond the touchline. But there you go. I'd love to see a photograph of that one.
It looked fine to me. All the camera angles clearly showed him grounding it in. So no question there.
Do you know one thing I pulled out watching this game? Is Saints didn't celebrate any of their tries. I think they just thought, routine job, go out there and do it. And they didn't have any kind of running in to celebrate the tries they scored. It was very understated. I'm saying this without paying attention to their previous games this year in terms of how they celebrated tries, and whether that's just how they've been celebrating scores this year, I don't know. But if it's not, then I think it might be telling. If it is, then disregard what I just said.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this, for all the fact that these guys are professionals and this is their day jobs and what have you, I think we'd be naive to think that maybe they might not have gone out there with an element of, well, we're absolutely battering everybody this season. This shouldn't be a problem for us. And maybe they underestimated Toulouse, and maybe they didn't take into account the fact that actually, probably Huddersfield game aside, really, Toulouse haven't been absolutely thumped by everybody. They've been in games. Case in point being our game, where we got away with it. Let's be brutally honest. And maybe Saints went in thinking it was going to be an easier game than it was. No, as I say, I could be doing Saints a disservice there. Quite frankly, that's always a good thing. But I do think maybe they were underestimated. And, and given the fact that there was an awful lot of ex-Wigan players in that Toulouse side, I think maybe they decided they had a point to prove.
Yeah, I got a feeling that Saints maybe were just seeing it as a go through the motions, get the win. Yeah.
Get in and out with least amount of damage. And
Well, one thing we did see in this game was a couple of beautiful left to right passes. Wellesby has been doing it a lot, but the pass for Sims try, that was really good. Having said that, his defensive deficiency showed up a bit on the Peru try, where he was beaten to that ball that really should have been his. He should have put his body on the line to get it be his, and he didn't. So there was that, but really the positives way outweigh the negatives for Jack Wellesby. So, take that criticism with a pinch of salt. He'll work on that.
Yeah, and
his passing game's got it's just really good.
And the thing that people forget with Wellesby is he's still only 21, 22. Yeah. So, he's still very young. So you're not going to get someone of that age ripping it up at being a brilliant fullback week in, week out at that age, because you've still got growing to do, and he's still
every week now,
still learning the game, still learning to read the game better and things like that. Give him another couple of seasons the way he's been playing, and you could see him potentially taking over from Sam at fullback for England.
And if his left to right pass was good, how good was Tony Shigo's for the winning try? What a pass that was!
Absolutely.
The only other thing I've got sorry, go on, Lee.
I was going to say, but he's got that in him, Gigo, anyway. He is the archetypal rocks and diamonds player. He can have an absolutely shocking game, and then every so often he'll do something like that. Even in a game where he's having an absolute shocker, he'll throw out a pass like that, and you'll go, actually, yeah, that's probably why he's in the side. I think there is an element of him that you have to accept that you are going to get the rocks as well as the diamonds, and you hope that most weeks the diamonds are more prevalent than the rocks.
And Underhull's in this Toulouse setup seems to be the perfect place for the way he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said with Brearley, he seems to work in that system, seems to suit him, that management, that way he's treated seems to strike, because
he was never really going to be long term a McNamara player, but
no,
a Sylvan Hulls player, he is that.
Definitely.
The other thing I noted down on this game, the Hankinson try. Watching that was the biggest mess I've seen a St Helens defensive line in this year, probably actually under Christian Wolff. They were all over the show. I don't think he realised how. I think he was surprised at how much he'd got through the line so easily and had so much time and space to put the ball down. I think it was that was weird. I must say that one was weird.
But again, they chopped and changed a few players. Now maybe did that contribute to it? And again, go back to what we were saying about them maybe taking it for granted. And joking aside about Hankinson, and wish we could have used him for his kicking game. He's not the fastest centre or outside back, so it's not like he's burnt anyone for pace or dropped the shoulder or anything like that. There was a complete lack of communication and misread by the Saints defence, and he's suddenly gone, oh, hang on, I'm in here. And probably he was as surprised as anybody that he got through and scored.
Yeah. piece of news that came out of Toulouse this week, they've officially announced the contract termination of fullback Mark Corella for gross misconduct. The 32-year-old spent 10 seasons with Toulouse, making almost 200 appearances for the club. However, he has not played for the club in Super League, and he gone. It's a shame, but obviously there's been talk of a breaking of trust. There's been rumours of him trying to either fake his COVID passport status or something, or certainly lying about his intention over the vaccine, or whether he had COVID or something within there. He's told some sort of lies that have undermined any kind of position he had at the club, and he had to go.
And it's the polar opposite to Jonathan Ford, who came out and said, "This is what I'm not doing this is why not." And he's walked away with a handshake and a thank you for everything you've done.
And if things change with the rules, you'll be back in.
You'll be back in, yeah. Whereas Corella's maybe tried, like you say, he's tried to fudge it somehow, and the club have gone, "That's not worth the aggravation. There's the door."
Yeah.
That said, he will go down as a, whatever happens, whatever has happened, he's going to go down as a leading light of the renaissance of rugby league in Toulouse and the south of France for what he's done with the club for the last 10 years. And obviously, he was a key factor in them coming up last year.
Oh,
him
for sure. Yeah.
Corella in the halves and the fullback were the difference in a couple of games. The grand final, the two of them really were the difference in them winning the grand final when most people expected them to absolutely batter Featherstone. And actually, it was a much closer game probably than most people expected. And Corella and Ford made the difference ultimately, didn't they?
For sure, yeah. It's a sad way for his time at the club to end. One last game to talk about. One main talking point, I think, is what's going to come out of this one. One big 10-game talking point. But Hull FC were 14 points to 6 win against Huddersfield Giants. It was 6-0 to the Black and Whites at half-time. 10,682 were there to watch it. Liam Moore was the referee, but guess what? None of the Hull fans mentioned it. Weird.
Can't think why.
I thought he hated him.
Yeah.
Actually, some of them might have mentioned it. I haven't read the fan reviews yet. But anyway, in terms of the stats, Hull FC won this off the back of a 4.8% better team tackle success rate. They gave up just 3 breaks, making 4 themselves, with a better average gain despite giving up 142 more metres. I'll get to that. FC were on the wrong end of the error count 11-9, but then the better of the penalty count 5-8. This was the 3rd game this week where the team making more metres lost the game. And if I'm putting that in context for you, it's only happened 8 times in 36 games so far this year, and 3 of those 8 times were this week, so it was 5 times in 30 games before this week. Other than tries, goals and breaks, because obviously that's what gets you the points to win games, metres is behind that as the clearest stat indicator of who normally wins the game. The team that has the most metres wins roughly 80% of matches. So, interesting that 50% of them were lost by the team making the most metres this week. Individually, Adam Swift 160 metres, Brad Fash 135 metres. That's the worst haircut in Super League, by the way. Danny Houghton 55 tackles, none of which were missed tackles. Josh Griffin 124 metres. Ricky Latelli 136 metres, Jerry McGilvery 134 metres, Innes Senior 132 metres, and Luke Yates both ways 40 tackles and 124 metres for the losing Giants. Do you want to give us the first of the fan reviews?
Yep. At Stosner 1981. Now that Huddersfield have played 2 decent teams this year, we found out that they're not actually that good. FC superb in defence, but made it hard for ourselves after switching off in attack with 20 to go. Snake, Mitch, Dr. Dre and Fash were excellent. If Price doesn't get at least 8 matches for that spear tackle, then the world's gone mad. Grade D to F is referred to tribunal regardless of whether you've got previous.
I think the world is definitely most utterly fucking bonkers, Stozzer, but at least this gives you one area of sanity because we know he's got 10 matches.
And it's the RFL judiciary. Who'd have thought that?
Esther said, how dirty was Huddersfield? Price could have broke Wynn's neck. Lola here outclassed by Jake. Losing it, who we wasn't good, but we tackled really good.
Joshua's granddad. If winning ugly is a good thing, then this is right up there. Attack clunky, but 2 more assists for the Snake. Defence spot on, given the number of repeat sets Liam found.
So he did mention it. He still nearly tried to blame him.
Yeah. Least said about Price's tackle, the better. Major ban incoming, even with his dad on the match review panel.
I think his dad might be one of the people who occasionally sits on the disciplinary panel on the disciplinary committee that does the hearings is not on the match review panel.
Yeah.
But I'm certain that he wouldn't have been on his own son's hearing today.
Yeah.